The dim glow of the basement stairlight flickered as John Reyes stood at the top step, staring down into the darkness like it was a forgotten portal to another world. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video. Dust floated in the beam of his flashlight, and the stale scent of time long past wafted up to meet him. He had delayed this moment for years. The final corner of his late father-in-law Fritz's house remained untouched. While the family had cleared out the rest of the Los Angeles home, the basement had always been a mystery, too daunting to face. But today, wrapped in a protective suit, John was ready. With each creaking step downward, the weight of dust, age, and memory pressed heavier against his chest. It was more than just clutter, it was decades of someone else's life, sealed in boxes and forgotten furniture. But what John didn't know was that hidden beneath the grime and cobwebs lay a discovery that would not only change his life, it would rewrite the story of Fritz entirely. At first, the basement seemed to offer only the typical forgotten relics of a long life: old furniture, brittle books, boxes of newspaper. But then something caught his eye. A small, decaying paper roll, crumbling to his touch, released a handful of dull copper pennies. Strange, he thought, then another, and another. John's heart began to race. As he dug deeper, boxes upon boxes emerged, every one filled to the brim with tightly packed penny rolls. And it didn't stop there. Behind crates and cabinets, he found heavy bank bags labeled with names of institutions, some long defunct, and a few from Bank of America. The sound of shifting metal inside confirmed what he feared and hoped. These were all filled with pennies. The further he searched, the deeper the mystery ran. What would possess someone to save so many? And then, a note. Tied to one of the bags, barely legible from age, were the words, "For the future." Chills ran down John's spine. This wasn't a fluke. Fritz had planned this. The penny hoard wasn't just spare change tossed aside, it was an intentional legacy. But why? Were these coins rare? Was there something special hidden in the copper? Fueling John's curiosity was the possibility of striking gold, or rather, rare copper. Could there be one of those legendary error coins worth thousands or more? Suddenly, every roll felt like a time capsule of potential fortune. But nothing could have prepared him for what came next. Tucked behind a dusty wardrobe, John spotted a small chest, its wooden frame ornate, sealed with a heavy padlock. It didn't match anything else in the room. With a rusty crowbar and a pounding heart, he forced it open. Inside were envelopes, dozens of them, each carefully labeled, each containing handwritten notes from Fritz explaining why he had collected the pennies, where they came from, and what he hoped would happen one day. The realization hit hard. Fritz had been building this collection for 45 years. By John's rough count, it could be over 800,000 pennies. The family gathered around that evening, stunned by the sheer volume. They joked about being rich in copper, but deep down they knew they had something much more valuable, a mystery to solve, a legacy to honor. Initially, they considered Coinstar, but the image of hauling 1,000,000 pennies to a machine that takes a cut of your cash quickly became a running family joke. So John reached out to local banks. Wells Fargo? Overwhelmed. Others? Unwilling. One banker, after seeing the photos and videos, broke into a grin. "This is incredible," she whispered. "You might be sitting on a gold mine." That one sentence changed everything. The banker explained that pennies minted before 1982 were mostly copper and worth more than face value. Add to that the possibility of rare errors or minting mistakes. Suddenly, Fritz's hoard wasn't just quirky, it was potentially historic. Fired up with new hope, the family became amateur numismatists overnight. Magnifying glasses, coin catalogs, YouTube videos about double-die errors, every night was a crash course in coin collecting. Then came the first strange find, a penny with an unfamiliar mark. It turned out to be an error coin, and it was valuable. But excitement soon gave way to frustration. Sorting and identifying coins, hoping for jackpots, was painstaking work, and none of them were experts. That's when John contacted a professional coin appraiser. The appraiser confirmed the coins held real value, but they needed authentication and grading, an expensive, time-consuming process. Selling the entire collection started to seem like the better option. But then John remembered something, a coin collectors club Fritz used to mention. And that's where the story took a dramatic turn. At the club, seasoned collectors examined the stash, gasping as they unearthed rare coins, including a 1955 double-die penny, a dream find for numismatists. The club offered to help the family get the coins authenticated and sold at proper value. Fritz's collection wasn't just valuable, it was extraordinary. Weeks later, many of the coins had been appraised. Offers began pouring in. But one stood out. A legendary coin collector from New York, Mr. Thompson, flew out after hearing about the hoard. He combed through the boxes, stunned by what he found. After hours of inspection, he made a life-changing offer, $225,000. The family stared in disbelief. More than triple the face value. It felt like a dream. But the real surprise was still to come. With the offer on the table and the house abuzz with disbelief, John and his family decided to accept. The deal was finalized, and a pickup date was arranged. On the day of collection, Mr. Thompson arrived with a crew and a large truck, ready to haul away over 2 tons of pennies. As the team loaded box after box, the truck slowly dipped under the weight, its tires groaning as copper flooded in. John stood nearby, arms crossed, a smirk tugging at his face. "Never thought I'd see a truck low-riding from coins," he laughed. The sale was done. The weight was off their shoulders, literally and figuratively. The Reyes family celebrated with dinner and champagne, raising their glasses to Fritz. His quiet obsession had become a financial windfall, but more than that, it had connected generations, given them stories to share, and sparked a journey none of them could have imagined. But the story wasn't over yet. Mr. Thompson, the buyer, returned to New York with the treasure trove. In the months that followed, he took on the painstaking task of inspecting every single coin. Armed with magnifying glasses and coin reference books, he combed through the masses, driven by one hope, that somewhere among the ordinary, a true rarity lay hidden. And then he found it. Late one night, digging through a box he had nearly set aside, a glint caught his eye. It was a penny, but not just any penny. This one looked off. The shine, the feel, the weight. It didn't match the rest. Curious, he inspected it further and immediately knew something was different. The markings confirmed it, a 1943 copper penny, one of the rarest and most valuable coins in U.S. history. During World War II, pennies were made from steel to conserve copper for the war effort. Only a few copper pennies from 1943 were accidentally minted. They are so rare, so legendary, that most collectors go their entire lives without even seeing one. And now Mr. Thompson was holding one in his hand. After immediate authentication, the coin's value was confirmed, over $1 million. Stunned, Mr. Thompson didn't hesitate. He picked up the phone and called John. His voice trembled with excitement as he shared the discovery. "You won't believe this," he said. "You had $1 million penny in there." John froze. The room around him seemed to vanish. Emotions flooded in. Excitement, shock, disbelief, and oddly, peace. The family had always joked about striking gold, but none of them thought it was possible. And now, Fritz had done just that. To his credit, Mr. Thompson offered to share part of the profit with the Reyes family, thanking them for trusting him with the collection. He said, "This was your father-in-law's legacy. He was a genius in his own quiet way." The family was overwhelmed. It wasn't just about the money, it was about Fritz. His strange habit, his cryptic note, his meticulous saving. It had all been for something. His faith in those pennies was not misplaced. He had left behind not just coins, but a story that captivated everyone who heard it. The media caught wind of the new twist. The story exploded. What had already gone viral now became the headline of national outlets. News crews returned to the Reyes house. Interviews were arranged. The family was invited to speak at coin conventions. Even history buffs took an interest in the saga of the $1 million penny. Suddenly, Fritz wasn't just remembered as an eccentric old man with too many coins. He was hailed as a visionary, a man who had preserved American history in the corners of his basement. He became a legend, one who had turned pocket change into a fortune.